Haiti is the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere and one of the poorest countries in the world, with 80% of the population living in abject poverty. Lives of hardship, lack of affordable health care, and inadequate supply of clean water contribute to a life expectancy of just over 50 years.
The ability to access healthcare is limited related to location. A lot of the villages are rural and displaced from downtown medical services. Transportation is a limitation for the individuals to get to the areas where they can access healthcare. Some of the individuals that we see in the mobile med clinic have walked hours to be seen and treated by our providers.
Literacy is only slightly better, with about half the population being able to read and write. Childhood education is out of reach for almost half of the population.
A lot of the people, they cannot afford, to send their kid to school. And sometimes they have 4 or 5 kids in the family. They have to choose which one to send.
There is widespread unemployment, with more than 2/3 of the labor force without formal jobs. Sadly, countries like Haiti will never be able to overcome these hardships by relying on aid alone.
What you want a third world country to become self-sufficient. The populace becomes educated, they become competent in doing tasks, they become competent in having physicians and nurses and accountants and people who contribute to society, and you want the Haitian people to be able to take care of themselves.
Since its inception in 2003, Allegany Region Missions has been called to focus on 3 primary areas that we believe make the greatest impact to rehabilitation and development. These areas are education, construction, and mobile medical services.
A mobile medical team in Haiti involves a group of providers, all volunteers, that will come into a rural village and provide medical care and provide the medications and treatments that they might need. We often will see 100 or 150 people a day. We see men, women, children, and babies and teenagers, and we really like to spend time with each individual, try to communicate with them on their needs and pray with them about specific concerns and just the general teachings of Jesus.
So when we look at that,
Allegany Region Missions started with surgical and mobile medical clinics and grew to include VBS ministries and construction. During that time, it didn't take long to realize the great need for education, teacher support, and training.
my name is Kathy Adams. I live in Perrysville, Ohio, and I have been coming to the Galette school since 2007. This school has 350 children. They also have very large classes. So my job is to help them find ways in understanding children and the better ways of teaching. And everything that I do comes from biblical, coming from the heart of Jesus, to help children because we're all God's children.
I am very thankful for the training that we received from Miss Katie. She helps us to understand how we can treat our students individually as they learn. I think that the biggest issue for me is a shortage of resources. Most students do not have the books that they need, or if they do, they have to share it with 1 or 2 others.
Because a good education is so essential to the country of Haiti, Allegany Region Missions has invested in a teacher sponsorship program which provides essential resources to teachers, including ongoing teacher development and class supplies. However, a greater commitment is needed to this sponsorship program if we are going to continue to bring quality education and an adequate supply of school materials to Haitian children.
My name is Jean-Benato Charles, and I'm the director of Christian Trinity School here in Galette. This area was very poor when I first thought about building a school. We didn't have many schools and the population is growing fast. The children could not afford to go to school and there were no public schools in the area. The problem we face now is that the number of kids continues to grow. More and more parents like the work we are doing, so they send their kids to us. As a result, we have no more space for all of them until the second part of the school is completed.
The idea that we have is that we want to facilitate the Haitians, and we thought the best starting point was education because, you know, better than half of the children in Haiti don't receive an education of any kind. We saw a school that that had very difficult teaching conditions. It was really not much more than a picnic shelter. The divisions between the classrooms were just pieces of plywood. There was no cafeteria, and basically the restroom was just a hole in the ground. The new school addresses most all of those poor conditions. Block construction, metal roof, just all in all, it's just much better suited to teaching and for the kids to learn. If Haiti is ever really to change and improve, it's not going to come from missionaries going in there and doing work and then leaving. It's going to come from the long-term improvement of the education of the children of Haiti so that they're able to do it on their own.
As you can see, the need is great in all areas, from ongoing support of our teacher sponsorship program, to completion of the second phase of the Christian Trinity School, to spending time as part of a mobile medical, VBS, or construction team. Your help can make a huge difference in the lives of many. Allegany Region Missions is a 501c3 not-for-profit organization, and we covet your willingness to partner with us, whether by prayer, volunteering, or financial support. We depend on you.
You almost feel guilty you've gained more than you were able to give because of the feelings and the compassion and the joy that you get from doing these trips. You bring back so much. So much.